Hi, I'm Ruben.
And I'm Eric.
Welcome to School on Monday, a podcast where we tackle all student topics, from study tips to relevant and interesting news discussions, funny stories and anecdotes.
There's no handbook for school survival, but help's always at hand at the School on Monday podcast.
Check out our website at www.schoolonmonday.com.
Welcome back, School on Monday family. Another episode, another show, another live.
Episode 19.
Yes.
What's our discussion today, Eric?
Working and studying. Working and studying.
What do you mean by working?
Retail jobs, part-time jobs, full-time jobs, work where you get paid. Well, hopefully you get paid.
Did you have a job during education?
Did I have a job? It wasn't really a job, but I did help my dad out at his supermarket.
At a supermarket?
Yeah, that's where we are today, you know what I'm saying? Anyone want to go?
You can see it in the background.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I did work part-time. Not part-time, but I did help him out here and there. But he was very adamant that I've just focused on my studies. Which he felt was the right thing to do. What about you? Did you have any jobs when you were growing up? In school?
No, I found it weird to have a job while being in school. I didn't see the rush. I wasn't excited to go and get a job in Sainsbury's or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't really get the rush. Like, everyone was getting jobs, more than one, some people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah, for me, it weren't something I wanted to go out and do.
Yeah. Maybe people did it for, like, the financial aspect of it. I mean, that's probably why they did it in the first place.
£4 or £5 an hour?
Yeah. Under 16, there's like a minimum wage. Back then it was
under
like
16
£6 or something.
Nah, it weren't, bro. Maybe they were getting that much, but the minimum is like
£5.85.
maybe less, bro. Actually, yeah, maybe about 5. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah, so that's I didn't really have the idea, but I know a lot of people that did have jobs part-time. I think just for personal reasons at home and stuff like that. So they needed another financial avenue to get. So they did work. And some people just really like working from early. And then others just focused on studying. So it was a mix of different groups. I personally didn't work, to be honest.
And I think people wanted to feel grown up as well. Once you got your national insurance.
Yeah.
So like, let's use that now. Let's use that.
Facts.
Yeah.
It was that little blue-red card thing.
Yeah.
And then everyone was just like, straight bung. But it just depends. It just depends. But I didn't really get one. Did you?
Get what?
A job in uni.
In uni? Yeah, I had one in uni. Had one in uni. It wasn't too bad. It's quite social in uni. Like, the job I had was working in a cafe in M&S.
Okay.
As you know, so like,
how can I help?
Everyone was around the same age. Not necessarily going to uni, but we're just around the same age, so it was banter, do you know what I mean? It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, it was alright. For a job, it was fun. I mean, I wouldn't do it for free, do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Is it a good idea, to have a job whilst at school?
I don't think it's that great an idea, personally. But I know it can, build your CV, so they say. But by the time you're old enough to start looking at a proper 9-to-5 job, you're probably not going to put down, your work experience in Sainsbury's and stuff. Like, I feel like after a while you start to take those experiences off your CV. It's a decent start, I guess.
Yeah.
For lower level jobs, but I think most people after a while that's going to get whacked off your CV. It's not a permanent thing that stays there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway.
It's just to fill the gap sometimes.
It's not on mine now. It's like, is it on yours? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Sometimes you can make a job sound like it was more than it was, and you can use it to back up your points, like like if you make a point like, oh, I'm good at customer service,
Do you need
then obviously
something?
you can use that. But yeah, I feel like after a while, it's so long ago that it's not that useful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no, you do learn you would learn some new skills that you wouldn't have learned in school.
Yeah. 100%.
But the main reason I'm saying that I don't think it's a good idea is because I think at that age, it's enough, like, school's enough, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy and you got to focus quite a bit on it.
Mm.
And I feel like anything else is too much of it's taking too much of your time already.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a weekend job, like, do you think it's a good idea to have a job during school?
I think it just depends on on the situation at home and stuff like that. If you don't have the best circumstances at home, then you would find a way to maybe get more financial help from certain places, which is a job and other things like that. For example, I never had that type of issue, so I've always just focused on studying. But mine's quite different to everyone else's. So, they always said that I've got a bank of dad.
Yeah, you got the bank of dad.
So I've never really had that issue. But I know I can understand why people would choose to work, because they need, maybe to support their mum and dad, or situations at home, maybe more personal stuff. So I think that is maybe why they do start it. And also to feel grown and maybe to have more of a structure. Because, as Ruben was saying, it takes up a lot of time. But what it does is it gives it maybe a bit more structure, where you kind of have to, okay, cool, you have to work at a certain period of time because you have you have maybe a 7 to 10 part-time job in the evening, so you have to figure out a way to do both.
But I feel like, yeah, that you can make that structure, but how does that help? Because if you didn't have the job,
yeah,
you could still say, I want to work between 5 and 7.
Yeah.
Without having a job that you have to go to. Do you know what I mean?
Right. But then say, for example, like, people don't, like, sometimes people need initiative to do something else. And having a job, like, for example, if you don't have a job and you're just chilling, if you can't, like, some people need a little push to, like to get help. Do you get what I'm saying? So I say, all right, cool, I don't have a job, so I'm just chilling. Whereas if I know that I have to go somewhere at 7 to 10, then there is no way I'm going to do well or do something or do anything if I don't do that from 5 to 7. I have to do some work. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think if you can't structure yourself to do it from 5 to 7 without any other, like, obligations, then with a job, it's gonna be even worse. That's what I think.
Agree to disagree.
I have heard something like what you're saying. Like, it was something weird about the mind. Like, if you've got a task and it's on the top of your list, you're gonna go to the one on, like, sort of second on your list. You know what I mean? You never want to do the hard. You don't want to do, like, the first task. Like. So if the job becomes your first thing and that's your second, then maybe I don't know, maybe something like that. But yeah, I don't think so. I think if you can't manage your time without the job, then with the job you're not gonna do well with it, I think. But what are some good jobs to have while you're studying?
Retail jobs is a great job to have. That's what they told me anyway.
I know when we were younger, it just felt like
retail
getting into Top Man or something like that.
Yeah, it was just the littiest time.
Yeah. It just felt like.
But from what I've seen and over the years, I would personally really say to people, like, look for jobs in certain places that you potentially want to go into, because certain people I've seen, they've literally, when we got to uni and started to look for jobs and stuff, their parents have kind of told them, because they've kind of figured out, okay, they wanted to do law at the age of 16. So they've been working every summer, at least a month from 16 at a firm, even if they don't get paid, but the experience or internship there is far greater than working at retail park.
Yeah.
In Sainsbury's or
anything
or
else.
Sports Direct, let's just say, for like a bit of change and stuff. Cool, the money's there, but the experience is much more greater at the end of the journey when you're looking for jobs. So when when people get so shocked when you need 5 years experience, and people are like, what? We just come out of uni, but there is people that do it because they've been told or taught from people that know them or their parents that are in certain positions to say, all right, cool, like, work from 16, do an internship 3 weeks over summer period. So they have the experience. So that's what I would personally say. Like, great to get money, but more importantly, you need to find jobs that may be in your passion or field that you feel passionate about. If it's art, go to art school or arts college or something like that, and then go to somewhere art intervention or something like that for like even 2 weeks, for like even like for free, to gain the experience. And that's the way you can write on your CV that might not, like Ruben said, might not disappear.
Yeah,
you can actually use it for your actual degree.
Yeah, I mean, for your maybe top man job, what you're getting £100 a week on the weekends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is far more valuable, even if you didn't get paid.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, you can start building connections as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can start building connections,
right.
And yeah, that's more valuable than £100 a week.
Yeah, because if I was going to do it again, I would have tried to look for at 16 look for architecture firms from early, and just try to work there for 2-3 weeks, just there, and then
you know maybe they would have paid for your uni.
Yeah,
you
just never know, because these companies are big enough companies to do that. You know, and you've been working, so the loyalty kind of comes into play if they like you as a person and stuff like that. And you're already inside the door. So now you've got something like a degree or a qualification after school or sixth form that you can say, all right, look, I've done this now, so now you can give me this position. But you're already in the door early. So I think that would be the thing. Of course, you got other retail like jobs like, you know, you can do other things like maybe stewards, football match. It just depends what you're passionate. I think do stuff that you're passionate about. Like if you're outgoing, then maybe do events or go help out in event stuff. Or if you want to be a teacher, you go work in like a school for like internship. You know what I mean? Things that you're passionate about instead of just chasing the money. Like, and the money's not like money's sufficient, but it's not great.
No, it's not great. It get you a bit of food.
Yeah.
The travel
and stuff like that, but you just need to find something that you're passionate about, something that you want to give it a go and see if you like it, that you can potentially help, you know, stuff like that. So what would you say is like the drawbacks of like doing both?
Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying before. Like if you're working, it could just take away from that time that you should be focusing on school. Do you know what I mean? It can start to be more of a distraction than anything and just tire you out when you shouldn't be tired. Do you know what I mean? You might start feeling tired during your lessons. Do you know what I mean? When you're meant to have your energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can just become too much of an interference. And then also employers might start to... There's a lot that goes on in a working environment, do you know what I mean? They might start to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Because you are young and they don't have to pay you that much.
Yeah. Which they do.
Yeah, and just start overworking you, do you know what I mean? All those jobs that no one wants to do, you'll be doing them.
Yeah.
So,
and it just gives you that it's like a hidden structure that they put in your head, like this is the norm kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't know any better, so you're gonna think all this photocopying and not having your lunch is the norm.
It's not.
Yeah.
Like you need your breaks. That's what they put. Like I know, because like, even for me, I made the mistake when I was younger. Like when you're in a company that you just got into first, you're so adamant to look good and make them proud, like they're your father or mother or something like that. So you don't want to make no mistakes. So sometimes you overwork yourself to compensate to look good. Do you know what I mean? So focus on yourself, because if you overwork, you're just going to burn yourself out. And then you got other priorities such as your work, your education and stuff like that. So you need to just prioritize you. So take the breaks when they are given.
No, take the breaks when they've been agreed to take.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let, yeah.
No, when they're given, like, if you've got an hour break, then take it.
Yeah, but sometimes they might be like, oh, someone hasn't gone on. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they're a bit annoying about it. And you might end up like only getting half your break that day.
Yeah.
And stuff like that's happened to me before. Like I've only got half my break. Or even they've forgotten about my break.
Yeah.
So like whenever you agree to take your breaks,
take it.
Let them know like I'm going on my break now.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to cover like whether it's your manager or whoever like.
Yeah. Be strong about that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, they do take the chicken wings at sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They do take it because they're trying to get the best out of the person that's working, and they do take it. When they're younger, you just you're not gonna be like no. Like the older generation will be like no. But they're gonna just say that's how it goes, and that's the nature of the game, like they say. But you have to be very sure of that. You know what? Like I'm gonna take my break.
Yeah.
I need this. I need to go take. You know what I mean? Like it's just simple things like that. You just have to do. Like you just have to be strong about.
You're not being rude. That's what was agreed in your contract. Take it. And also, you got to know why you're working as well. Like, are you just there for the money? Or are you there because you're trying to build a career out of yourself being there? Because if you're just there for the money, then just get in there, do your job, Get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Don't be too passionate about it.
Yeah.
Just get your money, that's it. But as you were saying earlier, if you got no choice but to work, like you're saying, obviously some people might be in that position because of the way their household is. How are you going to balance that? How are you going to balance your job, your study, your free time?
Yeah. That's, I think, the first and most important thing to do is to have a schedule, like a timetable of saying, okay, cool, write it down for the whole week, what you have to do. These are the times you're working, these are the times you're at school, these are the times you're delegating to actual schoolwork and other things, prioritise. Literally break it down, like the journey to get there, journey to get back. Just the more detail you put in a timetable to help you, then the easier it is to follow. I think that would be the best thing that I've personally not done, but I've seen that people who have done it have structurally done well. You know, I think that's the most important thing. And, you know, and also at the end of the day, you're going to this part-time work. It's part-time. It's not full-time. So your main priorities are your education. So put that first and then put the part-time. So if you can't do, you know, if you can't do a certain period of time for certain reasons because you've got exams, you have to be firm and tell the employer, like, listen, I can't do it. Yeah, it's not about being rude or anything like that. It's just the reality that your main focus is to study, sorry. So that's your main priority. So that should be your first call. Like you said, like it should be your first call. And then the work should be second. It's just to help or aid you in your situations because of your personal reasons. So I think that's what's important. You know, people do be a bit scared and stuff like that when you're young, you know.
Yeah, you're timid.
It's daunting, isn't it? Because you're working for someone else, or even the experience of I'm working for someone. It's like it's crazy at that time, like 16.
It was only my last job where I started feeling like that's it now. I'm like I'm no longer that timid person. Yeah, I've had enough now. Like I'm just if I get another job, like
it's gonna be different
environment. It's just I'm gonna just it's. I don't know, you got to sort of be in the environment, like, I don't know how to describe it. You can't be that timid human being that just gets pushed around and stuff like that. You have to sort of put your foot down in the environment, and that's what I'll do easily.
Yeah, respectfully.
And don't fear anyone, just because someone's a manager or even CEO. Like, if you've got something to talk to them about...
Yeah, say it.
Just talk.
Yeah, honestly, like, don't hide anything. Don't feel scared or, you know, like... with the higher powers or whatever, like it doesn't matter. They're humans. They will understand. They will need to understand.
I mean, if you're not being rude or offensive or anything like that, then you're not gonna get fired.
Everything
for expressing your opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's the most important thing. Like, and like I would say, just choose jobs that are flexible with their hours. Like that's when you're working around your education schedule. Like you need things that are flexible with your hours, where you can say, I got this exam, so I can't potentially work there. I got this, I got that. Do you know what I mean? Of course, people don't want to hire those things, but there are jobs out there that you can potentially find that have little flexible hours here and there. So I think that's the most important thing, you know. And just be strong about it. Like, just be adamant. Say education comes first, then the work comes first. And as long as you open and clearly say that at the start, no one's going to take you for an idiot. Do you know what I mean? That's the reality. I know you've done your research.
Yep.
So what are the restrictions of child employment?
As you said, done a bit of research.
Come on.
Not going to read it all out.
Yeah.
But a few key things that I found. And obviously this link's going to be in the show notes. It's just on the government's website. But some main things, restrictions on child employment, I'd say, you know, as a child, you're not allowed to work without an employment permit issued by the education department of the local council. You can't work during school hours. You can't work before 7 a.m. or after 7 p.m. You can't work for more than 4 hours without taking a break for at least 1 hour. That's what we mentioned before. So some employers might try and make you work more than 4 hours. Be aware of that.
Yeah.
And and you can't work without having a 2-week break from any work during the school holidays in each calendar year. And there's different rules for term time, school holidays, and local rules on what your employer can do. So have a look at that link. It's in the show notes on child employment. And just make sure your employer's following these rules.
No, honestly, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that.
No,
but then again, did we need to know that? Because we didn't really
work like that. But even I don't think people that genuinely work knew that. Because they're just so excited. Like, it's just one of those things where money just plays a huge part because you're so excited to get money and help your financial situation and stuff like that. You just forget about all these rules that actually are in place, especially in the UK. In Sri Lanka, it's different.
But do you think that these employers are often breaking these rules? And if they are, like, what should you do if you're being treated unfairly?
I think you need to be careful because some of these employees do take advantage. I think one of the kind of the first steps is if they're paying you cash instead of sending it to your bank or doing the transaction like that because the reason why they pay you in cash is to kind of not say it in their taxes, and sometimes for that reason they kind of overwork you to underpay you.
Okay.
Because they can kind of get away with it, because there's not a strict like a regiment of like £7, £7. They could say £5, £6, £7, £6, £7, £6. Do you know what I mean? So those things there, they can play with it because it's not written down on the taxes or anything like that. So which is a big thing that you'd say. Always say, send money to your bank account. And I think which is important because Mira was speaking about it beforehand, like these things. So for example, like your credit card and say for example your debit card, it's good to kind of show money coming in and out of your account. I think it's very good to show that. So it shows that at least your bank account is active. So when you're 16, 17, you got a bank debit card, money coming in and showing you're working, that brings a trust towards the banks to say, all right, cool, this guy's clearly been working or this woman has clearly been working from young, so understands the financial demands in it. So when you do apply for big things like mortgages and stuff like that, there are better chances because they know you're active, which you wouldn't really know. If someone didn't tell you beforehand, like you wouldn't really know, like, all right, cool, like this is the situation here. What do you think about that?
Sounds great, mate. Very good.
Because you were saying about you didn't really understand the whole situation about debit and credit card and stuff like that.
No, like I was saying, when you're younger, well, growing up, I was told, stay away from credit cards, stay away from loans, stay away from this and that. It's bad, do you know what I mean? But as I was saying before, not all debt is bad debt, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And credit cards are not all bad. And you actually need them to build your credit rating, do you know what I mean?
Enough.
You need to show that you can borrow money and pay it back. So if you don't have a credit card, how are you showing that?
Yeah.
It's that simple. And there's other reasons to get a loan or a credit card, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, 100%. We'll definitely touch on it in another episode. But those are the things that's important, just show the outgoings and the activeness of the actual bank account. I think another thing is make sure, as you're young, have your parents in the loop and in conversation, because any risk or something that's happened, they need to contact your parents. So they need your parents' details at all time, which should be one of the big first steps that you need to do is make sure you inform your parents that you're working here, and you need to tell your employer, that you need to contact my parents if something does go wrong. That's one of the things. And most, if you're getting unpaid, underpaid, and you're overworked and stuff, you really need to come and really consider yourself to say, do I really need this job? Because you're putting a lot of effort and time, but you're not getting paid for it. You're a great asset to the business, but it's not really helping you to a certain extent. So those things you need to have a proper conversation about, because without that, there's no point. So I would honestly say that you need to really discuss and say, is this really worth my time to get underpaid and worked much more for a bit of pennies?
Yeah. Or you ask your employer for a bit more money.
Yeah.
And then if they say no, then
you just leave.
Get on your
because when I was younger, to a certain degree, people said money was so important, and stuff like that. But I think time is the most important thing. Time. Because certain people in an hour can make £100,000, and certain people make £10. Do you know what I mean? So time is the most important thing. I know certain people that are rich and wealthy, they can say, yeah, take £100,000, no problem, but they'll keep that 1 hour because they can make £1 million in that hour. So it just depends on that. But when we were growing up, I personally thought that money was the main thing, whereas it's actually time. Because when you get older, you understand you can use time in so much ways where you can make 25 million an hour if you have the mindset for it. We're not making 25 million at the moment.
No, close to.
So that's what it is. And also, like, for example, if your grades are suffering from doing a job, what should you do?
Like you said, sort of with the money thing and the underpaid thing, you got to look at it and think, is it worth it? It's probably not, because school's meant to be your main priority. So if it's not worth it, you got to be honest with yourself and get out of there, I think. Especially if you're not, if you don't need to have the job. If you're just doing it for a little change, then get out of there. Or, also you could speak to your employer about adjusting your hours as well. Maybe taking a few, I don't know, maybe knocking off 2 hours of your shifts might help. What else do you think will help?
I think plain and simple, like if it's affecting your grades, which is your main priority, you need to leave the job.
I mean, there could be another job out there that maybe offers you a schedule that works better for your studies.
Yeah.
For you and your studies. But that's the main advice I'd give on that one.
Yeah, because you can't let nothing affect your grades, even if it's a woman.
Oh my gosh, let's not go back there. Let's not go back there.
Key points.
Back into the key points.
The first key point is part-time work is great for expanding your skills, self-esteem, and horizons.
Okay, and the second one, a part-time job is a good way to familiarise yourself with the world of work.
Third, working while studying makes you more responsible.
And fourth, it's important to know your rights and when you're being taken advantage of.
And fifth and final point, be conscious of when your job impedes your education.
You're annoying.
Why?
Let's get into the Some Family. You're annoying.
Some Family! We got one.
Got one. Who's it from?
He's a regular.
It's a regular now.
Yeah, his name is Dave.
DaveMDF. Okay. Yeah, I think he started commenting last week and he seems to like the show.
So more power to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, great to see you, bud.
Yeah. Cheers for that, buddy. Go on, you read it. What's he saying?
He's saying, how do you know if you're working too much and as a result not studying as much as you should?
Read that again, please.
How do you know if you're working too much and as a result not studying as much as you should?
Oh, interesting. You gonna answer that as well as read it?
No, you can do that one there.
You sure?
Yeah.
How do you know if you're and not studying as much as you should?
When the grades drop. Simple as that, mate.
There you go. You told me to answer it, but you answered it because you're
waffling.
Yeah, there you go. Lovely.
When the grades drop, it's not for you.
Will you know before the grades drop though?
You'll see it because when you do mocks and stuff.
Yeah, I guess there's loads of assessments throughout the year, so you're gonna start.
You're gonna see it throughout the year, like.
You're gonna start struggling, not understanding what's going on in class.
And you feel it like in yourself, like, oh mate, I'm behind.
Yeah.
Even at schools when you have to do homework and you're not really producing the homework as well, it's done.
I hope that works out for you, Dave. Buddy.
buddy.
Alright,
Be
cool.
more vigilant, mate. Yeah.
Right.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Let's
Episode 19. Yeah. Shall we put the shutters down?
Yeah, put the shutters down. Alright. Electric shutters?
No.
Why do you make the noise?
It's the old school thing.
Oh.
It's my strength and power.
Okay.
We'll be back with more episodes next week.
Yep. Cool. See ya.
Peace. Subscribe, please. Please.